Thank you for joining us on the RP Experience. I'm your host, Andrew Regenhard, and we have one of our preferred partners, Eric Sullivan with Legacy Title, and one of our top producing agents, Joe Pavich Jr. with Realty World, J. Pavich Real Estate. We're super excited to have you both on here.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Well, today we're going to be talking a lot about real estate, title, and everything in between. So, Eric, if you don't mind, start us off and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm originally from New York. I am married. I have two adult children, both in college at this point. 2 dogs, 3 cats, lovely house. Slight menagerie going on here in Naples.
Love it. Love it. And when did you move down to Naples?
I came down to Naples in 2002.
Why?
You know, it's a great question. My wife and I both talked about going somewhere warmer as the kids were early enough before they got involved in school.
Yep.
We decided to make the move.
Yeah, for sure.
And just kind of worked itself out.
Well, it's a beautiful area. So
We love it here.
I got pushed down here from family, and I'm so glad and blessed I am because it's an area that I don't think I could live without now that I'm experiencing it. And you say your kids are off in college now?
Both my boys are in college. My older boy is graduating this year from Florida Southern, and my younger son is in Stetson University in DeLand.
Awesome. Are they going to inspire to do title like you, or what are they going to do?
I have no idea. Ask me that question again in about 10 years.
Love it. All right. Now, obviously appreciate you being a preferred partner with Real Producers, and you actually brought on Joe Pavich. Few people know about your name here in town, and so Joe, if you don't mind, give the listeners a little update on who Joe is.
Sounds great. So my name is Joe Pavich Jr. I was born and raised in Calumet City, Illinois, and every year, for summer vacations and things like that, we'd come down to Florida. My grandparents, my uncles lived down here, so we'd come down for the summers and hang out in Florida, and I got to know Florida very well. And my parents had always said, we're going to move to Florida one day, and when they say that, you kind of chuckle and go, yeah, sure, right, whatever. They say that when it starts to snow, and then when it starts to get nice out, it's kind of forgotten about. But I remember 6th grade, 7th grade, going into that summer break, my mom and dad said, next year we're going to do this. And man, they weren't kidding. I mean, next thing you know, we started looking at schools down here and everything else, and made the move. And we moved here in 1989, and the population was 800 in Estero. 800. Yeah, it was insane.
Hasn't changed at all, right?
I think it's 810 right now.
Right, yeah, barely.
But it was really cool back then. There was just not a whole lot going on. I wish I would have taken a lot of videos and pictures of what the area looked like, because it was just nothing but a 2-lane road and just trees and cows and just nothing. As a matter of fact, the closest gas station was about 10 minutes away, and we had to go to for example, order Papa John's pizza or Domino's pizza or one of those pizzerias. They wouldn't even bring it to our house. We had to drive to like San Carlos Park, and they would meet us halfway to deliver pizza, which is insane.
Wow.
Blockbuster Video, like Rent a Video. It was all the way down almost by Edison Mall, Fort Myers. It was,
oh my gosh.
It's changed so much, but I'm glad we're here. I mean, I got 3 kids. Joey, he's 11 years old. Juliana's 9 and Jacob's 6. Jacob would probably say he's 7 because his birthday's in a month. And he'll say, Dad, my birthday's in 27 days, 2 hours, and 4 minutes or something. He knows. He's like, he can't wait,
It's funny. We're all hoping we could get younger, right?
Yeah.
Or turn back the time. And
exactly.
They're turning it forward.
But it's cool, though. The kids are phenomenal. I mean, I do work hard and everything else, but I'll pass up a showing for, a baseball game any day of the week. I've built a good team now, so I can be a dad and be around and not miss anything. So it's great.
Love that. Well, Eric, let's dive in a little bit about your business. Obviously, with Legacy Title, can you give us a brief overview of Legacy Title?
Sure. We are a full-service title company. originally established in 2008 as an offshoot of my law office. Been in business ever since. Trying to think what else to tell you. Title business is not all that exciting.
It's not that sexy, right?
It's not that sexy. We take a very, very proactive approach to dealing with our buyers and sellers, and certainly our agent partners who are our lifeblood, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And we pride ourselves on being not only timely and responsive, but being available when the time is needed.
Joe obviously uses you for everything, right?
Well, I'm going to let Joe answer that question, but we do a lot of business with J. Pavich Real Estate, something that we're very proud of.
I love
Thanks,
that.
Eric.
So Eric, tell me, we kind of made a joke that title is not the sexiest. So give us a quick overview of what a day in a life looks like for you running Legacy Title.
That's a great question. I'm not even sure how to answer that. A typical day in my life starts at about 5 o'clock in the morning, where I'll check to see what emails have come in overnight, and I will start replying to those emails, and I'll try to adjust my day accordingly. Every day that I get up, I have a plan, and usually about 5 minutes later, that plan is completely changed. So it's a little bit of a moving target on a day-to-day basis. But my role over the years, like Joe, I have been very fortunate to put a great team of people around me, and that team handles a lot of my day-to-day operations, which frees me up to oversee everything that's going on and to kind of get a view from above, so to speak. And I can jump in where it's needed, and where it's not needed, I can let my staff just go ahead and take everything literally from A to Z.
Awesome. Now, do you make it a little bit more exciting by bringing your dogs into the office?
I may on occasion bring my dogs to the office. They are living teddy bears. They truly are.
What kind are they for those?
For the listeners, I have a brother and sister combination Bernedoodles.
Okay.
So they're half Bernese Mountain Dog, half Poodle. And they will be 3 at the end of the month. So Joey and Marty and Mabel can all get together for a little birthday party.
I love it. I love it. If you guys didn't see it in the latest issue, we had photos of them and whatnot. They're adorable. So, Joe, get us up to speed. You've obviously created a big name within the Southwest Florida area, even in regards to maybe some commercials and different things that we're going to talk about a little bit later. But can you get the listeners up to speed on where and how you got into real estate?
Sure. Thanks, Andrew. So I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I would say from 94 to 97 or 98. And every morning I'd wake up, my dad would say, "Hey, Joe, get your real estate license and come work with me." That sounded horrible at the time. I mean, I thought, geez, early 20s, sitting in open houses. I mean, nobody did real estate then. So I thought, that doesn't sound good at all. Mm-hmm. And, he just kept over time, "Hey, Joe, come work with me," and everything else. And it never really clicked. And one day I woke up, and I think I was starting to feel like maybe that was the right move for me, and I got my license. And it wasn't quite that easy. I mean, to get your license is quite the process. But I remember studying for the test and getting my license, and then I put my resignation in with Enterprise. And at the time, they were like, "Joe, you're going to get into real estate? Like, who's doing real estate? No one's selling homes down here." So we actually, I'm proud to say this, and I always joke around and tell people that we really started off as kids, because we really were. And there was probably 25 realtors, maybe 30 in the whole area. So me, my mom, my dad, and my brother, we all, the 3 of us got our license together, and my dad already had his. But it's kind of cool because it was like just 4 out of 30 agents just trying to figure it out.
At 5, I mean, you're a 5th, or 6th of all the agents. Yeah. There you go.
So it was really cool, though. And I remember back when I started, I went to the office every morning. I had a bunch of business cards in my pocket. I'd go to Publix for lunch, try to pass out cards. People would come by, look in the window. I'd walk out inside and greet them and give them my card. And I started developing a name for myself, When I first started, though, my dad was always giving me business, when I first started. So for me, I wanted to be able to kind of create my own brand and start like getting business myself. And and that does take a while, because in real estate, it doesn't just happen overnight. It takes a lot of time. So, now I have 20 plus years in the business, and it's pretty cool. I've seen the area grow so much, and it's really cool because when I'm talking to buyers or sellers, I think back of what the area was like then. If they're looking at a community, I remember seeing it built.
Right.
I remember seeing the community before that built and the one before that, and they typically will get better over time. So it's really cool because you not only learn them from just how they are now, but you learned them when they were built, which is really cool because we had nothing to sell in the 90s. There was nothing to do. There was a few different communities, and that was it.
So obviously you guys have a great relationship and probably consider each other family in the sense on how much you guys talk and do business together. So how did you guys meet?
How did we meet, Joe?
Well, that's a good question. So Eric Solomon was working with, I'd never worked with Eric before. Okay, I always seen his name out there and I always thought, seems like a nice guy. I mean, I've seen him on the opposite ends of transactions in the past, but I thought, I like working with Eric. So I remember specifically we were doing a transaction in Miramar Lakes, and
not naming names.
Not naming names. So I remember emailing Eric at about 10:30 at night, and figuring he may not even respond at all. He responded at about 10:31. I responded back at about 10:32, and I said, I love this guy. He's just always available for me, and it's really been that way ever since. So thank you, Eric, because he does respond right away. I swear he must not sleep, because I email him at midnight, he responds, and I email him at 5 in the morning, and he responds quickly. So that's why we started working together. And I said, Eric, we got to go grab a coffee or lunch or something, because you're my kind of guy. We can work together real well. So it's been this way for how long? I don't know.
It's 10
7,
years.
8, 10.
Yeah, I think it's probably closer to 10 years already. Long time. You had mentioned earlier, or asked Joe earlier, what surprises you. What surprises me about the business is when people email me at midnight or 3 in the morning. When I reply, and then I usually get the reply to my reply, it's, what are you doing up? And my reply is always, why are you emailing me if you didn't want an answer? So it's interesting how the business tends to unfold. Joe also hit on another point where it's like you can have a week that looks like it's going to be incredibly slow, and it changes on a dime. It literally will become the busiest week ever, literally overnight. It's just crazy how the business flows that way. And for me, one of the things I find very interesting is how closings seem to always be stacked up on the 15th and the 30th. So we've had 40 closings a month. 25 of them are on the 30th. So, you just have to work through it.
There is so much work involved, though, Eric. I mean, you think, hey, Eric must just take the contract and just, close out the file and it's done. Like, they do so much work.
You mean it's not that easy, Eric?
It's not quite that easy. Almost, if you ask some people. But no, it's not quite that easy. But it is a manageable process when you plan. And the way we like to operate in the office is to really do our homework day one.
So to piggyback on that, what would be the best advice you'd give to a realtor in regards to title policies and procedures?
The best advice I could give to a realtor is to do your homework up front. So in other words, you take a listing from someone. Do you really know who your seller is? Have you looked at the last deed of record? Have you pulled that information? Do you know what you're dealing with? You can identify a lot of potential issues right out of the gate by just doing a little bit of homework. Checking a tax record, checking property appraiser record. The whole process might just take 5 minutes, but you will save yourself potentially a world of hurt later on. So the more time you can give yourself to iron out the wrinkles, for lack of a better way to put it, the better off you're going to be.
Love it. What about you, Joe?
That's a great question. I would say that as a real estate agent, put the client's interests first and don't put your commissions first on anything. You want to make sure that they're happy. And I think if you focus on that, it's less stressful for everybody, really, because it's all about the customer. And that's just kind of something I've always done. And I've told customers over the years, it's not about what we get paid on a certain transaction. It's about making sure you get the home you want, or you get the number you want, you get the timing that you want. It's all about them. So I'd say advice to realtors is put the customer first.
When will you know you made it?
That's a great question. I don't think you ever really will. I feel like I've never. I set goals along the way, but then my goals got higher. I said I wanted to sell X, and then Y, and then and then you say, well, I want to sell more and more. So I don't think you ever will.
Right. I have to piggyback on Joe's sentiment. I don't think egotistically I will ever say to myself, I've made it.
Right.
There's always more to do. There's always another rung to climb. And I think the moment that I don't see that road ahead of me, it's the moment I should retire.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. I remember when I was younger and I first started the business, there was a couple of realtors out there that were really, selling a lot of homes. And I said, oh, when I sell as much as them, I won't even, that'll be it. I'll be happy forever with what they're doing. And you kind of get there and go, God, I was expecting it to be more. You know what I mean? And then you set another goal, and when you get there, you say, oh, wow, that's it. Like I was kind of hoping there would be like some fireworks that went off or something like that. But
climax wasn't that good, right?
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Like,
I think the perspective changes from when you're younger to when you get more seasoned in the business. You had mentioned earlier about putting the client first, and it's not about the money. And from a career perspective, I concur with that wholeheartedly, because it's not whether I make $1 a year or $10 a year or $100 a year. That's not the motivator.
Yeah.
The motivator is the work. It is the relationships that you build with the realtors, the buyers, the sellers, the lenders, all the people in the process, the relationships, meeting you. It's all part of that reward.
It is.
So you're continually pulling forward to see what the next little nugget's going to be down the road.
And every day changes. I mean,
Absolutely.
all of our days, I guess, we're not line workers, doing the same thing every day. It's constantly changing.
Andrew, to add on to that comment, though, I think as my kids get in the business, because I feel like I got a couple realtors in the making. We talk a lot and we joke a lot, and I always ask my kids questions in regards to real estate, and they always kind of answer it like kind of correctly. Hey, Joey, what do you think the value of this home might be? And he might rattle off a number, which he doesn't know square footage and price per square foot and finishes. Obviously, he's 11, but sometimes he'll throw a number out there. I'm like,
you don't require that yet, Joe?
That's a pretty good guess. That's a pretty good guess. So for me, I think I might feel a lot better when I have them in the business and I can let them just go and do their things. And I think at that point, maybe I'll be like, hey, I got it. I did it.
So that would lead to the next question. Are you looking forward to retiring? Are you ever going to retire?
I don't think you ever, do you ever really retire?
I don't think so.
First of all, if when people retire, they play golf every day and fish every day. Eric, we played golf 50 times. I mean, the idea of doing that sounds horrible to me.
Right.
So I'd almost rather take buyers out here and
there.
there.
You see me play.
So I think for me, even if you retire, you're still probably going to get a call from a customer and just take them and
right.
stuff. Like my dad, he just loves what he does. And I think he might feel like he's made it as well, because now we're in the business and we're doing our own thing. So I think it's almost like training wheels. When you get the kids, sort of, and Eric, you're obviously getting to that level now where they're kind of off doing their own things and they're moving in the right path. I think you start to really look at yourself and go, I did make it. Maybe not financially or I sold more than I could ever sell, but I think it's just to the point where your kids are just, they're off and doing things that they're happy with.
You can see the legacy.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Hey.
Oh, he's got it. He was waiting for that one, guys.
I actually didn't even think of that until after it came out of my mouth.
Yeah.
But you the product of the years of sacrifice, you start to see it in the rear view. So, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from with that.
All right. If I remember the story correctly, Joe, you went against your father in the sense of advertisement, right? And you went above and beyond probably what he would recommend or suggest. So tell us a little bit about your view on advertisement. You have billboards, commercials, maybe which one's the first one, which one's your favorite,
Nice.
you know, and which one did you maybe like to create as well?
Well, that's a deep question, Andrew. That's great. Well, you know, my dad, obviously, and my mom and brother, you know, we just love each other so much, and we just do such different things. They have areas that they specialize that I don't even go near, and it's kind of the same thing. I guess I was always afraid of not being able to do it myself, you know, not being able to sell homes
Right.
and be able to get my own name, because, you know, when you have the same exact name as your dad, you know, you just... And you love that, because my dad is the greatest guy in the whole world. There's not one person that ever said in my whole life that, oh, your dad wasn't a great guy.
Right.
So for me, I just wanted to get my own name. And at some point, my son might say, hey, Dad, I want to sell more than you, and
Right.
and that's really kind of not a big deal, and I can beat that. You know what I mean? And obviously, I would say probably about 12 or 13 years ago, we would all market. Actually, probably 15 or 16 years ago, we would work together as a family team. My mom, my dad, my brother, and I, and you know, we would talk about a website, and you know, it isn't like you can just make your own decision up.
Right.
You have to go, Mom, what do you think? Dad, what do you think? Jay, what do you think? And you'd be looking at this website, going, I don't know if I like it, and you start to kind of analyze it. And I said, you know, guys, I'm going to start maybe doing my own branding. Is that cool? And they were like, yeah, great. And at that time was good too, because my brother, kind of went off and started doing his own thing, and then I did my own thing, and then my mom and dad they are a team, the two of them. So it actually worked out great, because it was like, yeah, guys, go do your thing, and you know, so we still see each other in the office. We talk every single day, and we get together as much as possible. So we're an awesome family, and it's cool because we don't bump into each other on a listing appointment or something. We just, if it's in our areas, we just give them to each other and kind of go from there. So
there's a kind of an unwritten saying in real estate that realtors will take every money they make and reinvest it into marketing and advertisement.
Sure.
Is that something you'd suggest, and what's kind of your take on advertisement?
It should be. It really should be. There should be a percentage. When I first started, it was like down to a percentage, and now over time, you just kind of know it works. So when I first started, I spent money on everything. Andrew, Eric, a new magazine would come out, and I would say, got to do it. They would say, we could have a half a page open. I'd say, no, I want a full page. Mm-hmm. And then I would sign up for a year, and then someone else, and then something else came up, and I was like trying everything to learn everything. Now, I just know what works and how it works and everything else. So it's fun for me now. It's much different, but.
Right.
You want to keep doing that. Like there over the years, I've been marketing like I have been now for a long, long time. There were times I wanted to stop, because you're slower but you're kind of like scared. Like if I stop it, then people might not know who I am, and that name might not be as powerful as it maybe could be. So I was always afraid to stop. Really.
Does marketing help you today, or does it help you down the road?
Good question. Down the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So if times are good right now, you're planning for the worst, and vice versa.
I don't expect phone calls. I think a lot of old school agents, they do something and they expect the phone to ring, and if it doesn't ring, it doesn't work. That's not the case. It takes time, right? It just takes time to start to get those calls to come in. It's almost like nowadays when I'm talking to someone, I ask them where they seen me, and they like chuckle and they go, well, well, I seen you here that, my friends said something about you, so it's kind of cool because it does become a bit of a snowball. But
all right, you guys work pretty hard. Was already talking with you, Eric, that you're excited to get out to the mountains and whatnot.
Sure.
So what kind of vacations you both have planned coming up here?
Well, for me, I am headed skiing out to Steamboat, Colorado in the middle of December. I'm very excited since we missed last year's trip due to the COVID lockdowns. So that's on my immediate horizon right now.
Excited.
And I had mentioned to you earlier, I'm looking forward to trying to plan a couple of shorter trips for January, February, and March.
That's awesome. Love it. Joe?
We just got back from New York, and that was great. That was very relaxing. Went for a couple days, last minute, which is cool.
How was it?
I like last minute trips. It was great.
Good.
I really enjoyed it.
Wasn't too locked down,
No,
crazy? No,
no,
Good.
not at all.
Good.
And then we're going skiing in February, going
Okay.
to Vail. Every year we go to Vail or somewhere.
Awesome.
Every year we say we're going to go somewhere different. And then we're like, oh, but just Vail is so easy. We just know it. We just know it very well.
Yeah.
So it's cool now because the kids are they go skiing with us. Joey and I picked up snowboarding last year, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Wow.
You snowboard, right?
No, I've never
Or you ski?
snowboarded. I keep saying that I'm going to try, but I haven't
Yeah.
made the taken the leap. so
I'm
to
the
speak.
snowboarder.
Oh,
And
yeah?
I've dabbled on a ski once, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was hard enough to get on skis. So now that I've got that,
Controlling two is hard. For me, I just control one. It's a lot easier.
It's almost my whole life I was big into skateboarding.
Oh, yeah.
And I still dabble a little bit.
Yeah? Oh, yeah?
But
Tell
it's
me.
funny because I thought snowboarding, I should be able to be pretty good at snowboarding. So
Yeah.
the last time I went to Vail, I said, Joey, what do you think? Do you want to try snowboarding? He's like, oh, Dad, I was like, I was hoping you would say that. He's like, let's go. So we get on these snowboards, and we actually kind of did pretty good. So
that's awesome.
we'll see how I am this year because I'm a year older and I'm a year more, I guess, more concerned I'm going to hurt myself. We'll see if I'm any better. But snowboarding is fun, and that's a great trip. I can't wait to go in February.
Yeah. Love it, guys. Well, we are running out of time, unfortunately. I know we could keep chatting and talking. We have one last round that we end the podcast, and this is with our speed round. So these are questions that neither one of you have ever heard. They're would you rathers. You can explain a little bit, but we'll kind of knock these out. There's only about 6 or 7 here.
Okay.
So
Start with Eric.
all right,
Thanks,
you guys can look at each other. Who's going to answer first? Would you rather never be able to drink water again, or only be able to drink water again?
I'd rather only to drink water again. I'd like to live.
But like, if you were living, like if you could live and never have water.
No, I drink a lot of water as it is. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
I love water.
Yeah, same
like
here.
would you rather only be able to use a fork with no spoon, or only be able to use a spoon, no fork?
Spoon, no fork,
Why?
because you can pick liquids up with them.
I think that's bigger for me, because at least I could I could pick up a piece of chicken. I
Yeah.
guess as long as
So
it's
you
cut.
think?
I don't know. What about you, Harry?
I can go with my hands. I know it wasn't an option.
Yeah.
I
What?
think I go with the fork.
Okay. It's tough. It's a tough one. I mean, you could just use chopsticks, right?
I was going to say,
So-
yeah, how good
not-
we'd be with that, but
Not happening.
Would you rather have to read out loud every word you read, or sing everything you say out loud?
I like to be able to read every word I think out loud.
So you'd have every single thing you read, you'd have to say out loud. You'd never be able to read in your head. It's kind of trippy.
Versus singing.
Versus singing.
Versus singing it, I'd rather
Yeah.
read it.
Okay. I think sing. If I could sing, I would love to sing.
See, I would rather sing it because I think it would imprint it more in my memory.
Yeah.
However, those around me do not want me singing.
Yeah, you wouldn't probably have any friends
Friends,
though.
yeah.
We'd still be your friends, Andrew.
Thanks.
But
I
you'd be
appreciate
singing
it.
to us all day.
I would sing so much.
Here's that guy singing again. Let's.
All right, movie guy here. Would you rather be a famous director or a famous actor?
Ooh, that's a good one. Director.
Why?
Well, he has a chance to manage the show. It's his show,
That's true.
and he's got to create that vision that he feels in his head. He's got to try to put it to life.
You don't want to act as a person in the show. You want to create the show.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric?
I'm definitely a director.
Yeah.
I'm behind the camera, not in front of it.
Love it. All right, last one. Would you rather be an Olympic gold medalist or a Nobel Peace Prize winner?
I think I'm going to go for an Olympic gold.
Yeah. Same here.
I do too. I don't know. Being on that stage, like everything, the hype, all that work that leads up to that one moment.
Yeah.
But I guess you'd say that about
The Nobel Prize too.
that's
Maybe
tough.
it depends on which discipline for Nobel Prize.
That's
is being
true.
or-
Yeah, that's good. As always, Southwest Florida Real Producers extremely thrilled to have you all on here, and we're pumped to bring Real Producers on air. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks, guys, for being on our podcast.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate it.
RP Experience out.